Hello and welcome to another one of my video blogs. Today really what I'd like to do is just spend a few moments talking to you about how to maintain your inner balance and why an inner balance is so important. When we refer to one's inner balance, what we're really talking about is your ability to be able to maintain a calm, spiritual aurora, both emotionally and obviously spiritually, but also physically as well. Every day, of course, we have ups and downs, as we do on a month by month and a year by year basis. Sometimes the ups can outnumber the downs, and conversely, sometimes the downs can outnumber the ups and also last a lot longer. This life is not an easy experience, and it was never meant to be. Bear in mind that we are here to experience different things. Now, some of the things that we experience, we often wonder why. Why are we experiencing something that is so negative, that has such a negative impact on our own inner balance? Clearly, it's not for me to answer such questions. In fact, most of the answers to these kind of questions you will be able to find yourself just through the process of inner reflection and also inner pondering. But getting back to the balance itself, one of the first things to bear in mind is that obviously your emotions will go up and down, and as your emotions go up and down, so too will your spiritual energy. The thing to try and bear in mind is that when you are feeling like you are going on a bit of a downward event, you will come back up again, but you have to first have the will and the desire to do that. Generally speaking, you won't naturally come back up again after a bit of a period of feeling down. You will have to initiate something that will help that process to start. It could be anything. It could be meditation. It could be spending time with family or friends. It literally, could be anything. It all depends on the individual. But when you are conscious of the fact that you want to come back up, give it a day or two, or maybe a week or two, and just wait for your own timeline in terms of your own life or your own journey to present to you different practices or different modalities that will help you to come back into that positive frame of mind again. And also when we're feeling extremely positive as well, a lot of the time, people will think that after a positive, period in your life, thereafter will come a negative period, which isn't necessarily true. When you do feel positive, and when you feel that positive things are happening around you, it's important to grasp onto and to hold on to the feeling and the thought that things will continue to get better, that you will feel better, and that you'll feel even happier and even more positive. And in that way, as you project or as you emanate these positive feelings out into the ether, chances are more positive things will find you. The way that I often like to describe it, or an analogy that I often quite like to use, is almost that of being a magnet, of being a spiritual magnet. Obviously, a magnet will attract positive and will attract negative things to it, depending on what side of the magnet you use. If you can orientate your spiritual energy and your spiritual self to try and be as positive as possible for as much of the time as possible, then positive things will find you. It's a bit like when people talk about cosmic ordering. I don't really like that terminology, because you cannot order anything from the cosmos. But really, essentially what we're talking about there is that when you are feeling positive and you are projecting positive energy and positive thoughts out into the ether, then it's almost like you are a beacon. Positive things and positive events can more easily find you as you can them as well. So that's why it's always important to try and redress the balance within your inner self, to try and maintain a positive thought and a positive balance for as long as you can, because eventually positive things will find you. Now, of course, this isn't always true, and it cannot always be true in every single case. On this planet, when we look at just human beings, there are over 6 billion of us, all having different experiences. So no two sets of circumstances will apply universally to everyone, but there are some fundamental elements that I feel anyway are at play behind the scenes, behind the physical world that we interact with, and the physical world that we see on a minute by minute basis. But what we can try and control is that inner spiritual side of us, that side of us that we feel is really what we are all about, the true self, not the physical temporary body that we are currently inhabiting, the part of us that continues long after the physical body has ceased. So if you are going through a negative time in your life at the moment, then know that negative period or that negative cycle will not last forever. Eventually it will end, and one of the things that you can do to try and preempt the foreclosure of that negative event that might be happening is to change your mindset, to try and change your mindset to concentrate purely on the positive. And if you're in an environment where you experience mainly negative events or negative feelings, then try and take yourself out of that environment, even if it is just for short periods. If you are experiencing negative events at home, or if you're experiencing emotional distress at home, then try and take yourself out of that environment as often as you can. It could even be going for walks, or getting in your car and driving around, or spending a bit of time by yourself in the countryside, just to reconnect again with that positive energy that does pervade and flow throughout everything. It is there. Sometimes you just have to reach out and grab it again. And it is really easy to stay perpetually in a negative state of mind when things around you that are happening are continually negative, or feels like they're continually negative. We only have to switch on the news now, and after 10 minutes of watching that, it's hard to not come away from that feeling a little bit down, a little bit depressed. What I do in that situation is I just don't watch the news. It doesn't mean that I'm not interested in what's going on around the world. I know that there are many different things that are going on, some positive and some negative, but to be presented with only the negative stories can only have the effect of changing the polarity within yourself, so that you become that negative magnet, for want of a better terminology, rather than a positive one that we all aspire to be. So it's just a short video blog, really, just to talk about like I said, the polarity and your inner spiritual balance. It affects everybody, even people who are yet to become spiritually aware. It does affect them, they just may not be conscious of it. So if you have any other suggestions in terms of video blogs that you'd like me to produce, then please put a comment in the description, or put a comment in the on the actual video itself, and I will respond to all of them. I also do offer one-to-one spiritual counselling as well. There'll be a link to my Fiverr account in the video description, where you can look at that if you want to. And also I do have a book that I've published on Amazon. It's called Islands of Reality, The Soul's Ongoing Journey, and really that book is just aimed at being a guide for anyone who is embarking on a spiritual journey that they are consciously aware of. And please also remember to subscribe to the channel. You can find us on Facebook, Spiritual People Unite, and also you can find me on Instagram as well, Spiritual People Unite. So until the next video blog, stay safe, share love with others as you wish or desire to have love shared with you. And take care, and I shall interact with you soon. Thank you.